welcome to my GTR collection. Now, a lot of you guys that watch the channel regularly probably already know this, but my name is Dustin Williams and I love to build and race cars, specifically Japanese cars, but most specifically, I love GTRs, as you can see. So this is a video I've been wanting to make for so long, but before we hop into it, if you are new here and you like the cars, you like the content, please consider subscribing, leaving us a like and a comment down below. That would be awesome. But for today's video, I'm gonna be giving you guys a complete tour and walkthrough of my entire GTR collection, 32, 33, 34, and the R35. Now, ever since the R34 came back, I thought it was only right that we give you guys a complete update on my GTRs. That's how I fell in love with Japanese cars, was actually buying this car right here. This R32 GTR is my first ever real Japanese car, and it dove me headfirst into the world of JDM cars, Japan car culture, and a lot more. Now, this car specifically, I feel like it's only right that we start with the R32 GTR because it's my first one in the lineage of GTRs. The only one I'm really missing here is the Hako, and you guys know, once we hit 1 million, that's the target. But the R32 is the one that we're gonna start with here, and this is the one that honestly has almost the most small little JDM bits out of all of these cars. Now, for the R32 GTR build, I really wanted to have a mix of styles. At first, it was going to be my time attack car, and I kind of switched it up a little bit because I love driving this car too much, as you guys know. We mixed a bunch of different things. I love Japanese time attack and the attack challenge styling of the cars over in Japan, so I modeled this car over that and a lot of the cars that I see running the Wangan and the C1 loop when we travel to Japan. So that's how I got the styling for the R32 GTR. And as we go through today's video, you'll kind of notice that each GTR has its own style and its own kind of purpose. Enough rambling on, let's just show you guys the 32. First, I feel like we have to start out with the engine bay because that is like the coolest point of this car. You guys have seen all of these cars be built from the bottom up, essentially. And this was a really fun one for all of us because we shipped this thing all the way to Tommy's shop in Connecticut and did a little engine restoration. So this car has a Nismo N1 block. We did some head work to it, but the coolest thing about it is this right here. We have a spicy HKS GT3 turbo sitting right up front and center in your face, and it's freaking awesome. The turbo, the setup, everything, it's absolutely gnarly. Now, at the beginning, I told you guys that this car has a lot of really cool small JDM bits, and I feel like we should talk about that now. And since we're in the front, let's take a look down here. One major one you're gonna notice is the top secret front lip. This is one of my favorite pieces of the car, and to protect that, we have the APR Racing carbon fiber front splitter. But there's one thing that is kind of minor, but I feel like is such a cool thing, especially because it has a story, is this tow hook right here. This is actually a Kansai Service tow hook that I purchased in the Kansai region in Japan. I bought this from Kansai Service directly when we visited Japan back in like 2020. So that's really cool to like buy parts directly from the source and be able to use it on the car. Pretty epic. So I think the next piece is on the side. Next up, we have my side skirts. This really gives the car that like that JDM style I was looking for, and it's something that you really don't see. It's pretty unique. These are Basin R side skirts with a carbon fiber side step, which gives it that extra little bit of aggressiveness and pokes it out. This gives the car a lower profile with the side skirts, which matches the front lip and splitter. And then this carbon fiber just makes everything flow together really nicely. Next up, we have the rear of the car. And I feel like this is such an iconic view. The rear of the R32 looks so good, and we made it just a little bit better. Now, very subtle back here. I used to have a big wing, but we swapped it out for the OEM wing again. But something very cool, and again, unique pieces. We have the crazy Hornet wing risers, which raise the OEM wing just a little bit. Paired with that though, we have an authentic Fujimura carbon fiber gurney flap for the OEM wing. Again, so aggressive but subtle, and the carbon just makes everything flow along the car. It is so good. All right, now finally, the interior. Like I said, I wanted it kind of race car, but also streetable. And I took a lot of inspiration from some of the cars that I've seen in Japan. And you guys have seen them throughout the entire Japan series as well. So that's where I got this. Don't mind the duct tape shift knob. I was actually racing the car and the shift knob broke in half. So there is that. But speaking of cool rare pieces, we have a top secret push to start button. Epic. So I guess for all these cars, we should start them up so you guys can hear them all. Push start. Epic. so good. Next up, we have my R33 GTR. Now, most recently, you guys probably remember this because we built it in partnership with HKS Japan for SEMA last year, which was awesome. Most notably, you guys probably recognize the HKS livery, which was insane that we were actually able to do this. We got the actual file from HKS, so we're able to run the livery for SEMA. But moving forward, I talked a little bit about this in one of the last videos. I really feel like I'm ready for a change on the 33. Nothing crazy has been done to this car. It's been very, very mild. We have HKS bits in the engine bay, we have HKS suspension, a little bit of interior, but I think it's time for a full build on the 33. That's really what I foresee for this car's future. But we also worked with Yokohama wheels and got some brand new Yokohama Advent Racing RG4 wheels, which I think look really good. But next steps for the R33, I feel like, are, unfortunately, as much as I hate to do it, pulling off the wrap. I don't want to give away too many secrets, but pulling off the wrap, redoing it. Let's pop the engine bay so you guys can check out the engine bay, because that's where most of the work needs to get done. Ooh, yeah. Not as exciting as the R32, but pretty cool. When I bought this car, it had previously been built by somebody in Japan. This was a private sale from an owner in Japan, which is kind of cool. They actually already had a Greddy twin turbo upgrade, which is pretty sick, but we got a bunch of cool little HKS bits, like the full intercooler and intake kit right here. We did HKS blow-off valve over here, and you can see in the front, a big fat HKS intercooler. Pretty rad. But other than the suspension, that's really all the modifications that this car has. So what I'm really looking forward to is actually potentially pulling the RB, doing the engine bay, doing a mild build on the engine, or maybe an RB28, who knows what's gonna happen, and getting this thing pretty much to the point where all the other GTRs are, because these things are so much fun. And this one deserves like a really cool highway runner build, I feel like. We haven't ever done an RB28, so that would be something cool to do to this, but overall, it really just needs a refresh. Now, interior on this is actually, I don't want to say the cleanest, but it is very, very nice. It's got these Recaro Eurosur seats, which are awesome, and the passenger seat even has this cool little armrest. Pretty sick. Actually, if you look in the back, they've actually been doing some work and taking out the interior for a deep clean, so that's been a lot of fun. But the interior is very, very nice. It's cool because Apple CarPlay, baby. It's got all old school technology, so we still have the ST Commander, all the original gauges that it came with. Again, we haven't really touched a lot. The previous owner did a really great job building this car, and I loved it so much driving it how it was, but I feel like with everything else, this thing just needs a nice refresh. I totally forgot to mention, we have a Nismo cluster. That is one of my favorite pieces on this car. If you guys don't know, this is an extremely rare piece, and this is actually one of the first modifications I ever did to the GTR. And it's got classic HKS high power exhaust. Baby, the R33 has a classic RB sound to it. It sounds good. We also have equal length downpipe on this one, I believe, and that again came from the previous owner. But this does have the classic RB sound, which I really, really love. Now for my prized possession, my R34 GTR. This was recently just imported into America, and as you guys know, or if you're new here, I built this in Japan for the past 5 years. That is crazy. I bought this 5 years ago, and my whole goal with the R34 GTR was to build and experience what it's really like to have a car built and owned in Japan. So we took this thing all over the country, took it to all the car meets, and we got this built at one of the most reputable GTR pro shops in Japan, Midori Seibi. Now, I think it's only right that we start with the engine bay, because that is probably the most notable part about my R34. It is freaking sick. This is literally my prized possession, my dream of all car dreams, a true JDM built R34 GTR straight from passion. Before I even owned this car, I told myself that if I ever owned an R34 GTR in Japan, I would take it to Midori Seibi to get built. And I said that because when I went there, that's what I really envisioned a Japanese tuner being, is something like a a small family-owned business that like really does things the right way and has the particular ways of building their own engines, and that's what Midori Seibi was. So one of my favorite parts about the car is actually this down here on the engine, the Midori Seibi high power engine badge. Now what's really cool about this engine too is if you notice the covers are green, that is Midori's specialty color that they only use for their demo cars, and they were kind enough to use that on my car as well. And we also got the Midori Seibi titanium strut tower bar, which is insane. So this car makes 500 horsepower, has twin Garrett turbos on it. What I wanted for the build was a very, very high performance street car build that I could drive every single day if I wanted to, and could drive on the track and have some fun. Like I said, being able to drive it every single day, because that's why I bought the car. But it doesn't stop there, because one of my favorite parts is actually this. This is an authentic, real Nismo Z-Tune hood that we purchased, bought in Japan, and installed in Japan. You guys watched that video as well. My favorite part about it is because it's authentic. It's an actual Nismo Z-Tune dry carbon hood, which I'm in love with. Again, completely built in Japan. Now, one of the reasons why I love this car so much is because when I bought it, it actually came with the Nismo Z-Tune kit. So we have a little bit wider fenders up front, we have the over fenders in the rear, side skirts, and the rear spats. It's so freaking good, and it's white. It's my favorite. Now, I'm gonna talk a lot about this car because I really love it, but if you guys come look right here, if you guys followed along for all of our Japan trips, I went on things called togeis. And if you don't know what those are mountain roads in Japan, and we like to hit a lot of the famous ones from Initial D. And when I did those togeis, we actually bought what you could call badges from the mountain stores that are on the togei roads, and you can put them on your car to kind of like memorialize running that road. And I have so many great memories from, as you can see, all the togeis that we've run with all of our friends in Japan. This is honestly one of my best memories and one of my favorite parts about the car right here. Don't pay attention to the crusty carbon, okay? It's part of just being beaten in the Japanese sun, all right? This is gonna get replaced, but it's really cool because we do have like the carbon fiber gurney flap back here, and we also have the Nismo wing risers right here, which extends the wing up just a little bit, and it makes all the difference. I really think that this is like a necessity for your R34 GTR, the wing risers. But if you come down here, one of my first ever modifications from Midori Seibi was their high power titanium silent exhaust. Now, kind of on the fence, and you guys can help me out with this, but I love this, and I love it because it's authentic to Midori Seibi, but it is quiet, and we may or may not have an R34 GTR Tomei in the shop right now that would make it loud and spicy, but again, it's JDM style. In Japan, your cars really aren't that loud. That's to be respectful to the peers and your neighbors around you. And of course, it matches the engines. Midori Seibi titanium exhaust, we have the engine. But I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Do we want to keep the Midori Seibi silent exhaust, or do we want to go Tomei high power, crazy, loud, spicy exhaust? You guys can let me know. Now, they're all so good in their own way, but an R34 OEM interior is fantastic, and that's just how I'm gonna leave it. Got the OEM seats, we do have an upgraded unit so that I could have Bluetooth and all that fun stuff. But with that, the only real upgrades that we do have in the interior, of course, like I said, the head unit, we have Midori Seibi's shift knob, and this is really cool, we do have the HKS boost controller, which was new when we did the high spec engine. It's quiet and idle, but when you get up into the higher RPMs, it really opens up. And again, kind of like the R33, it has that classic RB sound. Now, if you put the Tomei on it, would it be spicier? Absolutely. But I feel like this is classic RB JDM sound. I don't know. You guys can help me choose on that, but that's good. As I'm going through all these cars, it's crazy because it's jogging my memory on all the awesome memories that we've made on all these cars. And while there's almost too much to even reciprocate to you guys, what's cool is you can go back in the videos and literally watch every single build episode, which is crazy, especially with the R34. I mean, there's so many things that have been done to this car. One in particular, I know this is so minor, but it's the first modification I ever did was this personal steering wheel. and I bought it from Autobox in Japan, which is really cool. And I don't know, I think that's just so cool that we can go back and rewatch all of that. And it's cool getting to do this because I get to remember everything that we've ever done. This thing has so many cool little bits, like the ARC intercooler. I mean, I could go on forever, but you guys get the point. Now, last but not least, one of my favorites, I mean, they're all my favorite. How do I even choose? But we have the R35 GTR. This one is so special to me because it was really my first big car purchase that I ever made. It was right after the 32, which was really cool. But number two, it's also one of my first biggest builds that I ever completed by myself, which was crazy. If you guys remember all the way back then, I locked myself in my shop and learned how to cut up a car, cut up a body kit, and install it. That's what I did with this, the VRX Japan kit, which was awesome. That's one of my favorite car memories and ever like building cars was doing the VRX kit on this. And you guys should go watch those videos if you haven't, because they're really cool. But this is my R35 GTR. It's got the VRX semi-wide body kit on it. We did the front half, and I kind of made this unique to me. I didn't want to do a full wide body on it. I wanted it to be kind of mild yet aggressive, kind of like how all my GTRs are, but just in a different style. So we did the bumper, front fenders, which super sick because we did custom pieces right here. They're all carbon fiber, which they don't actually come like that. And I wanted it to match the front lip, the fenders right here, this little side piece right here, and the side skirts. It all flows really nice. We make our way to the rear. We also did the rear bumper and added all this carbon too, which is super sick. Now, probably the most noticeable thing that you guys will notice about the R35 is the color. This was a color very special to me, and a color that I feel like we really put on the map after doing this car, and that is Millennium Jade. I chose Millennium Jade because the R34 was always my dream car, and one of my favorite cars of all time is the R34 M-Spec Nerd. That was the only car that you could get that color in. And I wanted to kind of bring my love for Japanese culture and GTRs into this when I was rebuilding it. So we decided to do it Millennium Jade, and I feel like we were really the first ones to put that on the map, which was really cool, and at the time super unique. And even to this day, everybody remembers this car because of the Millennium Jade, which is super awesome. Now, this is definitely probably my spiciest GTR. If you could probably compare this to the R32. This one actually makes 705 horsepower. It's got full bolt-ons to actually stock turbos. It's really cool. Now, on the interior, you're probably noticing one major factor. Yes, all the carbon fiber. Thank you, Austin, for pointing that out. But most notably, if you look behind me, we have Nismo Recaro seats, and these are actually out of a 370. One's out of a 370Z, and one's out of a Juke R, which is really cool. We fit these into the car, and I feel like that was the perfect addition to the interior. Now, we can start this up and give you guys the spice. E85 cold start, baby. Ow! You got... It's so good. All the cars make such good noises when you actually drive them too, so this one's got some real good boosty noises. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I feel like we also have to show you guys the engine bay for this one. Oh yeah. So it's a little bit dark now outside, but we got the intercooler kit, which comes with the piping, front mount, titanium intakes. We have fuel. Like I said, all the basic bolt-ons that you would do. We don't have upgraded turbos, but it is still spicy as hell thanks to Bill over at Delicious Tuning. So this is definitely one of the most fun GTRs that I own, and just a classic staple, I feel like, for the channel and everybody that's watched for so long. Well, I think that's a wrap for our GTR overview. This was, as you guys know, if you've been watching the channel and seen all these builds, was a very generic overview of all the cars. But as you guys know, this is years of memories and a culmination of my passion for Japanese culture and GTRs in general. We put so much blood, sweat, and tears in all of these cars, and it's so cool because we got to make these memories with you guys. You guys have seen it all, and it's crazy to have every single one of my GTRs, my favorite cars in the entire world, here with me at our dream shop. I mean, it's just a dream come true. And really going back and taking a look at all the cars and doing this overview with you guys brought back a lot of awesome memories. And I just want to say thank you guys for all the support and everything that we've been through together over these past 12 years. It's been insane, but none of this would be without you guys. So thank you so much. And I really hoped you enjoyed this little GTR overview. Hope it jogged your memory on these cars and got you kind of excited about some of the plans that we have coming up, because all of these things need a little bit of work and a little bit of love, which means 2025 we're gonna have a big GTR year. I hope you guys are stoked for that. And of course, if there's anything that you guys have questions on, make sure to leave those down in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And if there's anything that you guys want me to go more detail in, let me know about that too, because we can always give you guys a full review of specific cars.
2025, get this man to 1 million subs, because if you look, there's a spot right here.
Yes.
There's one more car that can fit.
That's very true.
Get this man to 1 million subs, baby.
We need one, we need to fill that one last spot. So if you guys made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. Always, if you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, leave us a comment down below, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe, because that 1 million subscriber, that spot will be filled right there. Yes, so thank you guys for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions, let us know down in the comments. We'll see you guys for the next one. Peace out.
Blah, 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 blah.